dominicos, that is bigger than what was allowed according to 19-something city ordinance. However, that sign has been on the side of that building for a long time, so it is grandfathered in. Many of the signs down here are grandfathered. Many of the buildings down here are grandfathered. If a wind comes up tomorrow and rips that board off, it's non-conforming and they go to replace it, it has to fit the current ordinances. Just like some of these houses that are non-conforming, some of the decks that are non-conforming, they are grandfathered in. If it's hit by a storm and they replace that deck, they gotta conform to the city requirements. And these are requirements that not only the International Building Code, but also requirements that the citizens of Osage Beach wanted back in the 90s. They did not want this to be a town of tons of flags and tons of signs and tons of billboards. They wanted a classy tourist destination. So for whatever reason, it sat there forever. And I can't stress enough, I just found this out that Sunday, October 27th. So what we immediately went, I came back to City Hall and I talked to the staff, and how did this happen? How did we get to this? Because from day one, I've been common sense, make sense, pro-growth, pro-economic development, but customer service is number one to me, has always been number one to me. How did we get here? So what had happened was the bull disappeared for over 6 months. And I remember it was 6 months and a day, I believe. The bull was gone. And just for clarification, the bull was not necessarily out of compliance. The trailer was out of compliance because it sat there at an angle. It had slid at different times. The bull being attached to the trailer, kind of like the boat at one time. Yeah, pull it in parades, move it, pull it back. However, it sat there for years and years and years. And the city of Osage Beach, like I said a little bit ago, is once you have, based on your square footage, your frontage square footage, you're allowed one major sign, a second sign if it's within that foot, but it was out of ordinance. But it moved. So when it moved for that half a year, not one person called the city of Osage Beach and said, what happened to our bull? Nobody went on Facebook and said, save the bull's gone now. For over 6 months, there was no bull sitting out there. Nobody knew what happened to it. They never called the city and said, hey, by the way, we're gonna move the bull and we're gonna paint it and we're gonna put a sign on the side. Because if that would have happened, they would say, hey, you really can't do that. How can we work together to make it compliance? So the bull disappeared. And one of the main things, I heard it on one of the news agencies today, well, why didn't the city of Osage Beach call anybody? Well, that was one of my first questions. Why didn't you call? Several calls were made. They went unanswered. All of a sudden, the bull is gone. It shows up. We need to have a conversation. Please give us a call. No call was made. And I'm not faulting anyone because I'm just as guilty. Somebody calls me and I get 6 irons in the fire and I didn't call back, and then 2 weeks later, why didn't you call me back? But point being is, the city did reach out to them. The city went down there. Normally, nobody shows up till about 4:30 or 5. So finally, they went down there. Excuse me. They sent a certified letter. Same thing. A notice of violation, not a fine, not an appearance in court, a notice of violation. Say, please contact us so that we can talk about this. The certified letter, they made 3 attempts to deliver that certified letter. All 3 letters went unanswered. So finally, they did send a citation, and they called the city hall, and our city planner had a long conversation with the owner, said, here's the deal. I know it sat there for a long time. It's not been a non-compliance. The bull itself is not the issue. The issue is the fact that it's on the trailer. The trailer is not safe. Somebody said, well, the trailer's not safe. How did they haul it away and have it repainted? Well, my understanding is they brought a forklift in and lifted it off the trailer and down, but the trailer is not safe. Now, another question is said, well, okay, well, it's been sitting there for so long, and now all of a sudden, you're lying again, Mayor. You're saying that it's not safe. Well, now the city knows. Now the city knows. That trailer that's sitting at an angle in the right-of-way, now that we know, could you imagine the uproar? If something breaks loose or somebody goes by and kicks that out and that thing goes into the street and causes a wreck, or some 2-year-old is getting their picture next to the bull and it blows over and kills them. And all of a sudden they say, why didn't the city do anything? They knew about this. How did they let this happen? So that's how we got here. The city has been working with the owners. Once they received the citation, yes, they were given a court appearance. Another false information is that we're going to fine them $500 a day. By state statute, you have to list the maximum that you're going to be charged. If you're speeding, you get minimum to maximum. If you're going to appear in court, you have to have the maximum. Now, we've had board meetings, and at the board meetings, what's the word again, Cole? The trial, not the trial, but to appear in court has been, what's the word? They're not going to have to appear in court in November. Continued. The board and myself told the city attorney in our executive session, we don't need them coming to court. This is something that they're working together. So it's been continued. It's going to be continued. They're not going to be fined. Another comment has been made that the mayor has the power to change this now. The mayor has the power to, why isn't he doing this? He needs to be recalled. We only need 1,300 votes. The whole board needs to be recalled. And even though I don't live in the city, I'll facilitate it because he's this, this, and this. Well, the fact of the matter is we are working with the owners of Domenico's. All that has to happen, the bull comes off the trailer, move it back a couple of spaces. I've got the picture of the drone footage. Right now it's in the right-of-way. Move it back, secure it to the ground. And again, going back to the statute here in the city of Osage Beach, you're only allowed so much signage. Right now, the sign on the side of the bull is basically the same as the sign on the building. Put a picture of the American flag on there. Put a picture of the lake on there, something. They're already over their signage, but it's grandfathered in. But a secure to the ground, problem solved. We're not going to be fining them. The mayor does have the power to pardon fines. If somebody is charged, they come in here, they owe $100 for their past due water bill. I don't have the power to say, your $100 past due power bill is gone. But I do have the power to say, you know what, we charge you $50. I don't think I can get rid of that $50. They've not been fined. It's been continued. We're working with them. It's amicable. Nobody wants that place to go anywhere. But the problem is, and I just want to say this, and I even told, a lot of people didn't want me to speak before this meeting. And I felt a real need to for several reasons. Because I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to defend this board and our staff. At our executive meeting the other day, what could we have done different? And the board was upset, okay? What could we have done different? Why didn't we call? We did. You know, yeah, but why did we give them a citation right away? We didn't. We noticed a violation, okay? Well, how come we're charging them $500? We're not. And so it was a little contentious, and we sat right there and talked back and forth. What could we have done any different? All right. Somebody noticed the bull gone 4 days. Should the city have went out to them and said, hey, we noticed the bull's gone. What's the deal? Without going into the detail, a lot of people who knew the owners thought there was a real reason, personal reason why they got rid of the bull. We didn't know. A half a year later, it shows up, and then it's a problem. So now it's time to do it correctly, and we started to reach out and reach out and reach out, and we're still working with them. But the sad thing about this whole thing is the social media, and it can be your friend, and it can be a real enemy, and it can be nasty. I own Harmony's Cheese Store, small business, okay, and I'm not up here to cry. That'll be the Facebook message tomorrow. The mayor comes up here and he starts complaining again. I have a small business. Started that business from scratch, worked my tail off to make it succeed. It's had its rough patches. We're still dealing with stuff. But the nastiness on Facebook, what a rat he is. I'm never going to go to that terrible, nasty cheese store. There's memes out there with my boat on it saying how terrible I am. There's memes out there using sexual toy connotations of me and Aldermen, calling us those things. There's people has threatened us. When I left the cheese store to come up here at 4 o'clock today, there was a guy in there and he was getting a gift basket. We sure appreciate Harmony's. Every year we come for a gift basket for the Christmas and you donate for the Kiwanis Club. When I was walking in the 5K for Officer Carson Saturday, and they're taking pictures, all right? And somebody said, there's the mayor, always out here, supporting the cause. The nastiness, there were some things said on Facebook that I can't even say here tonight. And I think, too, of those people out there that call me nasty names, that call these people nasty names, that call these people nasty names, and they have little memes calling us sexual toys. Do their kids see this? What happens in 5 years when their kids see, I'm in middle school now. I never knew what this was, and you're seeing my dad posted that about? We're better than that, people. We really are. Everybody up here, everybody down there cares about this city. We're not here to pick and choose. If I exert any power I have and I say, Domenico's, put the bull back on that trailer, let it go, it's been there for years, and something happens, I could never live with myself. And if I do that, then what's to stop the next person to say, you know what? I have a pizza joint. I want to put a 30-foot pizza guy out there holding a pizza. Well, it's against city ordinance. What about the bowl? Forever, it's going to be, what about the bowl? We don't want the bowl to go away. The two sides are working together. It'll come back. It's amicable. The citizens of Osage Beach and the board at one time decided there are certain rules and regulations, and we try to follow them. Every sign up and down Osage Beach Parkway, the open sign, is technically against city ordinance, but you don't have to have a permit. And they try to show a little latitude, but everybody tries to do their best to not pick and choose. And that's one thing, the reason I'm sitting up here is because I thought I was wrong. I've had the opportunity to see the city on both sides. I've had the opportunity to see it from that side, saying, why me? Why won't they let me do this? And I've had the opportunity to sit on this side and said, well, here's why you can't do it. But the luxury I have is to work in the middle. Say, okay, sometimes you got to tell people no. But you go out to them, you visit with them, you tell them, you can't, and here's why. How can we help you get to yes? And to do that, we've got to be legal. Everybody up here swore an oath to uphold the ordinances and the law in Osage Beach, every one of us. And we try not to pick and choose. I've got more. I've not even looked at my notes. I don't think I need any more. Point being is, folks, all of us were elected by the citizens of Osage Beach. And if people want to go out from out of our district and call us nasty names, facilitate ways to get us off the board, to get 1,300 votes. You know who I'm talking about out there. Facilitating, I don't live here, but you know what? I'm about ready to do it because I know a lot of people, and this board is terrible. And it's gone from that welfare recipients to the Oasis, threaten eminent domain. We do a terrible job with the sewer. We didn't let locals get them all. All of those things, and then add whatever nasty name you can have to it on Facebook. Nobody called me prior to all the nasty things on the Facebook. I bet I have called, don't want to exaggerate, 15 to 20 people back who called my cell phone. And I called them back and said, you had to complain about this. They're like, I had no idea you'd call me back. And I explained to them, not as detailed now, and every one of them said, well, thanks for clarifying that. That's not what I read on Facebook. So with that being said, folks, I'm sorry, one more thing. I just want to reiterate that court has been continued. The two parties are working together, and we will work with the business. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I know this is out of context. Normally, at the end of all of our board meetings, the aldermen are allowed to speak public comments. But I'm asking the Commissioner Mayor to restate statement I prepared prior to this meeting, which I'll read at the very end of this session, but it's going to be a long one.
Please do.
I just want the opportunity to read this out loud right now.
Please do.
I've spoken several times on this dais regarding the court of public opinion. The city of Osage Beach is often criticized by the public and on social media regarding decisions the city makes on specific topics or issues. This criticism, though, is usually based on the public not being fully aware of all the information or details regarding an issue. Information or details the city cannot and will not make public out of respect for an individual or a business and due to our privacy policies. The controversy regarding the bull at Domenico's is a prime example of the public making opinions and assumptions about an issue which they do not know all of the information or all of the facts regarding this matter. I've read multiple comments and online posts vilifying the city regarding this issue which are not based on fact. People have referenced this bull as a landmark or an icon of the Lake of the Ozarks. I find it interesting and somewhat humorous, though, that when the owner of Domenico's removed that bull voluntarily in December of last year, and it was not returned into the property until June, that there was no public outcry. I did not hear or see any comments online on people saying, what happened to this landmark? Where is this icon of the lake? It wasn't until now that people use this as an opportunity to vilify the decisions the city is making about that bull. The public basically outcry needs to focus on facts. Usually, though, people don't understand the full facts or the breadth of an issue. Once that bull was removed for 6 months, it was internet silence. Nobody said a word, but now it's used as a catalyst to vilify the city on decisions we're making in the best interest of the city. I only ask the public to base your opinions not on misinformation, not on online posts, not on lack of facts, but if you truly feel adamant about an issue, please research it. Please ask the board, please ask the city before you make those opinions, basically vilify or state negative comments about us. That is all I have to say.
Thank you, Alderman Osteen. And reviewing some of my notes, last thing, and then I'm going to be quiet. Going back to the fake news, I think sometimes people make fun of me for saying fake news. I want to give you a couple examples of what I consider fake news. The Lake Expo article that came out, we were sitting here, we spent over 15 hours of budget hearings, okay? The board and I, 4 different nights, 15 hours, deciding how to spend $50 million of the city of Osage Beach money, approximate. Those meetings are open to everybody, okay? Nobody came to those meetings from the public. Nobody that I know of emailed and said, you know what, I don't like what the city does with this, you need to spend more money here. 15 hours that we tried to figure out how to spend the city's taxes for the city. Nobody showed up. But yet this gets nasty, nasty, nasty texts. I was sitting at one of those budget meetings, and at 4:23, I get a text from an author for Lake Expo and said, hey, I'm doing an article about Domenico Bowl. Can you comment? Right in the middle of a budget hearing, but I answered it back. And this is 4:23. I said, I'm in a budget meeting until 7 o'clock. I'll be unavailable until then. 5:15, 45 minutes later, that article comes out. And in that article, it said, the mayor and the city administrator declined to talk to us. 45 minutes later, when I specifically said I'll be done at 7, but we declined to talk. And then we have other news agencies. Just today, I listened to it. Ha ha ha, what a joke. The mayor said he might run for state senate. What's even more funny than that is then that bull flying off that trailer and hurting somebody. Just nastiness. And it can stop here tonight, folks. It can stop here tonight. Print honest things, If you have a question about it, my cell phone's number there. And the next time you have a problem, call us. Show up at the board meeting. We're here for the betterment of the city. With that being said, we're going to move on to citizens communication. This is the time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes, and I am sticking to that tonight. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may also be sent to the city clerk at tberreth@osagebeach.org no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting day, the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens communication section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any item not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The mayor and the board welcome and value input and feedback from the public. If there is anyone here that would like to address the board, please sign in and you all have 3 minutes. Okay.
Am I on?
No,
Is my 3 minutes started?
Brian, give me a minute.
That's okay.
Funny guy.
That's all right. I'll be brief. My name's Fred Cackott. Tonight I'm representing the Osage Beach Special Road District, and I have with me Randy Gross. He's also a member of the commission. And we wanted to thank you for helping us with the extension of the parkway from Lazy Days Road to Executive Road. We think we have resolved a huge safety issue out there on Highway 54. A lot of close calls, nobody got killed, but we shouldn't put off road repairs and safety items until somebody does get killed. So we are extremely happy with it. It looks great. And it does kind of open up a corridor again for continuing that access road on down to Y Road, which would be a nice thing. But on that point, we do have a little safety issue that I've talked to the city engineer about, and I've also talked to the mayor about. If you drive out there and look at this nice piece of highway we just did, on the left-hand side, going towards Executive, there is a cut for a driveway. That was part of the deal to get the land, and we understand that. But if we're afraid that somebody might mistakenly turn down there in the night to turn around, and once you got your front wheels over that edge, you would be down to the bottom of the hill. So it's a safety issue. And we would like to ask the city to block that access until what time the owner of that property fills it so that it could actually be used for a road. It's there, the cut in the guardrail's there, but we need to have it blocked because we don't want somebody going down that hill. Because if they went down there, especially in the evening when it's dark, they could sit there until the next day before anybody ever saw them down there. It's steep. So thank you again for helping us with that project. We have a couple more coming up for the city, and we're trying to make your roads better, and we're doing a good job, I think, and we appreciate the help of the city engineer and the aldermen when we need them.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
National Bull.
Thank you. Are we good?
I have it on my computer.
Okay. Yeah. So apparently the clock is not working for you to see. Tara's going to have it on her computer. Maybe you could give me like a 20-second notice or something like that. So, yeah, with that being said, who would ever like to speak first, please come on up and sign in. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Now, a couple things I want to address with you all as the city, irregardless of who knew what, when you knew, what you knew, who you knew, who you talked to.
Excuse me, could you just give your name so we know?
Oh, yeah, Nathan Rennie,
Nathan?
for the
Thank
record,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Regardless of what you knew, when you knew, who you talked to, you all are the city. You're the figurehead, you're the board. You all do have the power to do things. You do have the power to pardon any offense, ordinance. You have the power to drop the criminal charges. I think what you're failing to realize is in today's climate, especially here at the Lake of the Ozarks, and you saw it with COVID, people don't like government overreach. They don't like government coming in. They don't like things feeling like they're forced on people. And every argument about safety, about compliance, about any of that stuff can be negated by the fact that it's been there for 30 years. It's never rolled into the road. It's never fell over on anybody and they died. None of that stuff has happened. So it's hard to make those arguments. As far as, your violations at your place, maybe you missed the point of those, Mr. Harmiston, because personally, me, and I don't think anybody else actually cares, but because you are the head of the city, when it's a blatant violation on your property, and it wasn't just the boat, it's the banners, it was the sign, it was the free sample sign, it was all that stuff. And you go beyond that. I mean, don't you all have an ordinance about striping your parking lot and handicap accessibility? You built a new building here a few years ago that doesn't have any of that. So I think it's the rules for thee and not for me aspect is why you're seeing the backlash. It's why you're seeing people upset. And also, as I said, it's completely in your hands. You could pardon them at any time, and you've chosen not to. And when you release statements to the public, they only backfired because people are not into that. They want to see the solution. They want to see it done. I mean, you could easily drop the criminal case, go forward with however you're working with them and make it happen. Also, that sign ordinance was 99 is when it was written. That bull was in there from maybe 96 to 98. I'd have to ask my dad when the bill of sale is because he still has it in his records. But it was around 96, 98. So it actually would be grandfathered if any other sign is because it predates the ordinance. Yes, there has been a lot of backlash online for sure, and I'm definitely responsible for some of it. And I know you're talking to me, and that's fine. I'll own that. But at the same time, it's a repeated pattern of decisions. 20 seconds? Damn. Well, you said about the welfare, about the eminent domain. That was in the redevelopment agreement, is that you could do eminent domain. We read it. It's right there in it. And I do feel the folks at Lakewood are not real happy with how that came out. And there's a lot of things that have been done that fall
All right,
on you.
thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Since everybody was asking who I was earlier. I already have a name as a Karen.
If you don't mind, please talk to the microphone so people at home can hear you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. I have a lot of things to say, but it doesn't relate for the bull. The bull, as far as I'm concerned, you talked
I'm sorry,
about
I still don't
we,
know. Who are you? Or what was your name? I missed it.
It's here, you can look at it later, can't you?
If you don't
Is this
mind, for
part
the
of my
people
3
at,
minutes?
if the people at home.
Could we back another minute then?
Hey, relax. We will start all over. If you could, please just give her your name, and we'll start as soon as you give her your name.
I'm really trying to just be calm.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Simbro.
Very good. Thank you very much.
What's the sign? Celeste.
Yes.
All right, please start now.
Anyway, my only comments about the bull are that it's been an icon here for a long time. I've been here since 2000, and it's always been there. And I have to say that maybe the public didn't come in and talk about because they didn't see the bull, but I don't recall that any of the city members said anything about the bull anyway. The problem that I feel like, as a resident here for 24 years, the community has just been left out. The residents have just been left out. I've asked several times for the newsletter to be put back into motion so that you're giving the residents some information about what's going on in the city. Not everybody can go to the internet and is an internet savvy to be able to look and see. There's just so many issues, talking about not calling. I call. I don't get help, or I get told no for not, really good reasons. I get threatened. There's just too much to go into at this point. My biggest point is that you're talking about communication on your end, and for Mr. Ostig, that it's the politicians are here, but the residents also have feelings about this whole community. And I think it's every right of every person to be able to speak both sides of the table and then come to negotiation. My point being is that you all have the side of the table. The residents don't have any unless we can tune in to listen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, to be able to hear what the meeting's all about. Sometimes we have to look at this. If there's something important that's about the community, it should be set out. Not everybody can go and listen to KRMS on the weekend or look at the radio. There was a lot more people in this auditorium my first years of living here because the newsletter was out there. The newsletter went to every resident here. You all have abilities to figure out who's a resident, who's not a resident. The VRBOs have been an issue. Oasis is an issue. I just think that the communication is all politician one-sided and the residents really aren't listened to. And if we do speak up, we're Karens, or we're this, or we're that, or that's Vicky again, and it's trouble with the leaves on the road. It's trouble with the Mexicans next door to me that are getting too close to my garage. There's just too much to go. I've had issues with the police department because I call to get help, I can't get help. I come, they don't help. So you're just supposed to go out about it and do it by yourself, but if I do that, then I'm gonna end up in jail. So I'm not sure what you want the residents to do. We use social media because we don't have anything else. We don't have a newsletter. We don't have anything else to do. So I think until you start making the residents feel like residents in Osage Beach, to listen to people of Osage Beach, it's just one-sided. And you're going to get it from social media because everybody can be whatever and say whatever they want regardless of whatever they want to say. But the bull is an icon. It should stay. It should be there.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else who'd like to speak? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Has the board had a chance to review the minutes from our August 17th meeting, 21st, 22nd, 24th, and 28th budget workshops, and the bills list? Do we have any comments or questions on any of those? If not, well, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda has been approved. First item of unfinished business is Bill 24-70, ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 23-90, adopting the 2024 annual budget by amending and adding job titles and pay levels adjustments within the fiscal year 2024 employee pay plan. This is the second reading. Human Resource Generalist, Madalis Mazay.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. Again, this is to amend the titles for the Communications Specialist, Human Resources Clerk, IT Specialist, and Staff Accountant to Public Information Officer, Human Resources Coordinator, Systems Administrator, and Accounting Specialist, respectively.
All right, any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Rucker, do I have a second? Alderman Osteen, roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Barella. Yes. Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
All right, second reading, Bill 24-70 passes. Next item of business is Bill 24-71, ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to approve a contract with Capital Paving for the Lee C. Fine Memorial Airport rehabilitation of runway 4-22 project for an amount not to exceed $4,396. This is the second reading. City Engineer Drew Bowman, please.
Don't have anything further to add about the runway project, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I do recommend approval.
Any comments from the board? Alderman Osteen.
Just to reiterate on public record, this is a 90-10 split, so we are only paying 10% of this project.
Correct. Yes. That is
Correct,
true.
yes.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second? Alderman Barella, roll call, please.
Alderman Barella. Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen. Alderman Ross. Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Bill 24-71. Next, we have Bill 24-72, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 23.90, adopting the 2024 annual budget, transfer of funds for necessary expenditures for the purchase of a 2025 Ford Interceptor utility equipment and the installation of an equipment. This is the second reading. Chief Davis, please.
Mayor, members of the board, this is for the replacement of the vehicle that we lost with Officer Carson. I have no further information to add.
All right, thank you. Alderman Barilla. Oh, no. Any comments or questions? Motion to approve second reading. I'm sorry, Alderman Rucker?
I may have asked this last meeting, and you may have answered it, but I don't remember. Are we going to make a budget adjustment on the revenue side? Because I know that, there's always when you do and when you don't, but this is a one-time thing, and it would definitely show that that there's a more expenditure than income. I know it's just one time when you make them the one-time things, but it is an insurance thing, so I just didn't want it to reflect negative on the budget.
Yeah, I think we can review that ordinance, but I think you're right because it does have that verbiage in there about one time on the revenue side. So I think you're right. We need to also, I'll look into it for sure, but I think we may need to do that budget adjustment on the revenue side for the insurance settlement on that.
Yeah, I have no problem with the action. I just thought this was a appropriate time to bring that question up. Thank you.
All right. All right, any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the second reading.
A motion.
Alderman Barilla, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call, please.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Ross. Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Barilla.
Yes.
All right, second reading, Bill 24-72 passes. Last item of unfinished business is Bill 24-73, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute supplemental number 1 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporation for construction phase services in the amount of $456,632.61 for a contract amount not to exceed $777,632.61. Second reading, City Engineer Drew Bowman.
Mayor, members of the board, I don't have anything further to add to this. This also qualifies for the 90-10 split and has a 90% reimbursement from the FAA grant that we just got awarded in September. Be happy to answer any other questions there might be.
Comments from the board or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker, roll call, please.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen. Yes. Alderman Ross. Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Barilla.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
All right, second reading, Bill 24-73 passes. First item of business, new business, is an update from Jeff Tegetoff on the Lakeport Oasis. Mr. Tegetoff, if you please.
Good evening. Jeff Tegetoff from Tegetoff Development, the developer of the Oasis project. Mayor, Aldermen, Alderwomen, city staff, thank you for your service. Also, thank you to our other elected official present, Commissioner Skelton, for their service. Being an elected official or city employees, oftentimes underappreciated, but I do appreciate all you guys. Wanted to give you an update on the Lakewood timeshares. As you know, I started talking to the Lakewood HOA board in the summer of 2022. There was only a brief period where our discussions broke down, but we've really spent probably the last 16 months in near weekly sessions trying to figure out a solution. On October 30th of 2024, just a couple weeks ago, I officially closed on all of the timeshares and the official owner of the entire Lakewood complex. This process was overseen by Lakewood's attorney, who also had to certify ultimately a vote. There was a vote held of all the members on September 18th, 2024, and there was 2,548 votes available. Even people with partial weeks still receive a vote. So more votes than there were available timeshares. It wasn't as simple as dividing the units by 52 or multiplying the units by 52. There was 2,548 votes available. Of those 2,548, only 12 no votes were cast against the sale to me. That's less than 0.5%. Now, I will be candid, there was only 545 of those votes that were not already owned by me. But 12 of 545's only just over 2% of the people voted against a sale to me. Over 95% of people cast affirmative votes in favor of a sale, and about 100 of those votes didn't vote at all, of the 2,548. After the vote, it still required all the deeds to be sent out, 2,548 of them, all of them to be received, signed, notarized, and turned back into the title company. As of today, of the 2,548 deeds, only 29 deeds remain outstanding. That's over 99% of the deeds have already been turned in, signed, and notarized by the owners. Every one of those 2,548, whether they were purchased by me since the summer of 2022 prior or upon closing of October 30th, will receive money when their deed is turned in, or they already received money from me for their deeds. Eminent domain was not used and was never considered a path for us. As I mentioned prior, we had near constant communication with the HOA board and worked together to come up with a solution that we felt was more than fair and reasonable for everybody. And I think the testimony of only 12 no votes cast against the sale is a testimony that we worked really hard to come up with a common solution. Of those 2,548 deeds, they were owned by about 1,100 individuals. Of those 1,100, me and my team were able to track down and personally talk to over 900 of them. Of those 900 that we talked to, less than 5 did not sell to us prior to the sale of the 900 that we were able to talk to individuals. I think it's important to note as well that timeshare HOAs are not legally allowed to last forever. And this HOA would have had to fold up right around 2030 per their HOA documents. So as of today, environmental inspections have been completed. Asbestos and HVAC reclamation is scheduled for next week. Utility disconnects have been ordered and demolition is starting this month. But I think even more importantly, and a further testimony to working together with the HOA board, as of today, we've donated in excess of $1.5 million of materials and supplies from the timeshares to 18 different charities, some local, some not. Some of those charities include Habitat for Humanity, Bethel Hills out of Dutzow, the Boy Scouts of Columbia, Boy Scouts of Camdenton, the Girl Scouts, St. Vincent de Paul Salvation Army, Vista Baptist Church, and Heartland Church have all been on site. My team has donated hundreds of hours helping them remove things from the timeshares, helping them store them, helping them haul them off, and we're giving them until basically the end of this weekend. We've kind of left it open for people. The items donated include a swimming dock, a fishing dock, a playground, mattresses, furniture, tables, chairs, couches, bed frames, dressers, nightstands, cabinetry, countertops, sinks, appliances, including refrigerators, ovens, microwaves, washers, dryers, all the pool equipment, doors, deck boards, and even deck railings and siding will be donated. Like I said, over $1.5 million of donations All of that was coordinated with the HOA board and myself, and Brinkman Constructors donated their team's time to help facilitate that. And we're really proud of that. And I think, again, I think the city should be proud of it, and we're thankful that you gave us the time to work with Lakewood to figure things like that out. The schedule, what's going on the site? There's been a lot of questions about that. We ran out of things to do for a couple reasons. The timeshares were imperative. We did not think it would take until October 30th of 2024 to get it done. We're happy to have it done. But the power lines that power the timeshares still today, they run right across my hotel site. We have a tremendous amount of rock underneath those power lines. If you've noticed, we've blasted out rock on other parts of the site. We're crushing that rock on site, and we're using it to backfill retaining walls and use for riprap as well. Much of that work, much of the work required is utility duct bank work for the amusement park site, as well as the parking garage blasting. If you followed some of the other blasting we've done, we have to shut down the bridge as well as the waterway when we do it. So in an effort to not do that more times than necessary, we decided to postpone some work and not do blasting. As well, the spectrum line for the timeshares runs across my property and across the spectrum line for the timeshares ran across my property without an easement, but we allowed them to keep their internet connection until we bought it. To date, as many of you are aware, there's 94 permits that we've submitted for on this project. This is a very complex project. Never done a project requiring 94 permits. That includes Ameren, civil, city, state, building, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, fire, rides, elevator, Department of Natural Resources, MoDOT, and others. 76 of those 94 permits have already been received. 11 more have been submitted and awaiting some form of approval. We still have about another, I think, 7 or so to submit, pending getting some our plans to advance and some further design things, but they will be submitted. Another thing just to clarify, one of the problems with a site that large is you can't stop and start grading very easily. Those dozers run off GPS. If cold grading were only to do, say, a 20-foot cut, and surveyors would have to get out there, plug in different GPS coordinates for the grading, you'd have operators sitting there for a couple hours waiting for that to get done, and that could be done multiple times. We were down to only cutting about 20 feet at a time, 20 feet a day. And to give you some perspective, when we did like Sycamore Creek, we were able to get 200 to 250 feet of cuts a day. So the efficiency just wasn't there. And I'll give an update on schedule changes because of that. Our schedule continues to be fluid. We continue to zig and zag. We don't feel like we've lost any time, definitely on the hotel or water park, still on schedule to have those in November of 2026. For the amusement park, we are on target still for August of 25. Our garage is being built in a warehouse, gets delivered on 900 truckloads. That's not as much of a problem. We're still on schedule to have one of our 2 main restaurants at the Oasis opened by August. The other one has always been planned to open in the spring of 26. We will have docks starting to get installed probably around April. We are deliberately only installing about 3/4 of our docks because of the crane placement for the hotel site. We're not going to wrap them around there, but we will have about 2/3 to 3/4 of our docks in place for the shootout in 2025. And it's been a delight to work with the Barrett brothers and Dog Days and the shootout team on figuring that out. Again, there will be more zigs and zags. We'll continue to keep you guys updated. But again, thank you. I thought it was, we really appreciated the additional time to work out a great solution with the Lakewood Board. We wouldn't have been able to do it without that, and we appreciate it. Final update, Sycamore Creek, first move-ins November 22nd in Building 1. We already have 9 move-ins scheduled for the first day. Leasing's going great, and yeah, that's it.
Mr. Mayor,
Questions?
Yes. Is the parking garage, is the schedule to be open 1st of August for that because of the shootout, or?
Yeah, like I said, we've been meeting with the shootout board, trying to coordinate that. We, obviously, with our garage contractor as well, but yeah, that's the plan.
Were you working with the shootout to have that timeline in place? Is that accurate?
They had inquired if we would be ready, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Alderman Rucker, did you have something?
I just want to tell him, thank you, Jeff, for all that you do and a lot of things behind the scene. And I've always known that you were up front, and I know there was never a plan for any condemnation, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Alderman Osteen.
Mr. Tegethoff.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you as well as for our city attorney.
Yeah.
Per the TIF agreement that you executed with the city, as well as the extensions on that agreement with the Board of Aldermen, you had until October 31st to provide documentation to the city that you legally owned all of the property at Lakeport Developments.
Correct.
Has that been issued to the city?
City satisfied that the
So we have
requirement's been met?
received the required documentation
Yes,
to
sir.
verify that you are 100% owner of that property for the development.
Yes, sir.
I know it's splitting hairs. I just want to verify that you are following the train
I'm the proud
of what
owner
we
of
requested.
2,548 timeshare deeds.
I'm
And
sure
we've
there's a
notified
lot
the
of deeds of
And we've given
trust.
the,
Yes.
we've given the city, also
Mark
wanted to-
Spikerman's happy, I'm happy.
All right. Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of deeds of trust, et
Yes, sir.
cetera, et cetera. I just want to make sure the paper trail is following what has been
I
requested.
will say Arrowhead Title told me yesterday that they inadvertently crashed the state of Missouri's recording system when they uploaded all 2,548, and they had to get in a car and drive them to Jefferson City physically instead of using the online system. Yeah.
Sorry, just wanted to verify the
I appreciate
minutia
it.
of the agreement on the TIF. So-
Yeah, the city's attorney, Mr. Bradbury, as well as the city's outside counsel, has been notified and up to speed with the details.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Alderman Rose, did you have something? Oh, I thought you were waving.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir, Alderman Hoffman.
This is just a comment. As the project is in my ward, in Ward 2, I've had several citizens and business owners down that road come to me and tell me how impressed they are that you've been keeping the road clean and open. So I just wanted to convey that I've heard good things from the people down that road.
Yeah, I think Brinkman's been doing a great job. We never have to tell them things twice. And we're really proud of how the site looks all the time, for sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
I will say, too, that Brinkman's been awarded a partnership with OSHA on this site, which is a very prestigious award. We'll be making an announcement, but the site will receive a special kind of OSHA compliance during its construction for some of the safety precautions that we've put in place that are above and beyond what's required. So we're really happy about that.
Very good. All right. Alderman Rose, you do have something.
I'm going to make a comment. Based on the time in the past here, we've had some dynamiting going on. And I live down Jeffries Road. And I want to tell you, I thought, I don't know, how can they do that without us feeling some type of rumbling or noise or whatever? But anyway, it was well done. And again, echoing what Alderman Hoffman said, they've certainly taken care of the condition of the road with a lot of the construction trucks in and out, bringing mud. But by the end of the day, it's cleaned out. But anyway, we're very proud of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jeff.
All right, next we're going to move on to, this is a public hearing. We're going to be talking about this in the next motion, but for the time being, this is for the public hearing. Special use permit 414 MCM Development LLC requests a residential use on property zone C1 General Commercial. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this matter? Oh, I'm sorry, Kerry Patterson is going to give us a little
me talk about it first, Mayor.
Sorry, yeah, it'd be a good idea.
That's all right. That's all right. Yes, Mayor, members of the board, this is MCM Development LLC. You all may know them better as Black and White Roofing. They are a local company, some local guys, and they've made it here from time spent down helping the folks with the hurricanes over the last couple of months. I've been dealing with these guys for, oh my gosh, probably give or take 6 months now or so. And they've come in quite a bit. What they are providing and what they are asking for is something that gives us a chance to use our new residential zoning that we redid back in 2021 to try to provide more density in the R3 zone regardless of type of housing, whether it's single family or multifamily use. The reason that they are requesting a special use permit is because basically I told them to request a special use permit because in a situation where the property is zoned C1 already, it's zoned general commercial, what I don't want to do is see us rezone a piece of property that's zoned commercial to an R use and then have them get into the project and find through their diligence that it's going to be too expensive to develop as residential. So basically what I wrote within the special use permit as it will go to them is once they start developing the 35 acres as residential, they will be able to use the construction requirements and zoning requirements for the R3 multifamily zone, which gives them the option of putting in small lot residential, which is what we changed. We went from 7,500 square foot lots down to lots that could be 3,250 to 5,000 square foot lots. Providing the opportunity for smaller lots with smaller homes to provide some more affordable nature to those. And then it also gives them the ability, if there's areas that they want to put multifamily units, they've got some really nice multifamily units that they're looking at as well. And they can put those in if they find that the demand moves more towards those. Basically what will happen is just like if it were zoned R3, once they come in and they're ready to start developing, the subdivision will be a major subdivision plat. It will go through the process, so the platting itself will also go through the Planning Commission and through the Board of Aldermen, so you'll see how the development's going to lay out. You'll see what kind of housing they're going to build. And if something, happens to where they're not able to do the residential development on the property, then it reverts back directly to C1. So if somebody comes in at that location and is able to or wants to do a commercial development instead, if they find that there's more, it's more monetarily available for that, then it'll be able to do so. What is part of the special use permit, as I'm sure you read, is once the residential development starts, then the commercial use of the property is no longer good, and the regulations as it pertains to development will be completely controlled then by that special use permit. Conversely, if they decide that they're not going to do residential and somebody puts a commercial use or a commercial structure on the 35 acres that is under the SUP, once that takes place, then the SUP is null and void. And for them to then come back and be able to do any residential, they will have to get an amended SUP. So that protects residents from commercial and commercial from residential. The frontage of the property will remain commercial, and we're hoping to get something that can serve those properties back there, like a convenience store or something like that. And certainly a change like this will provide some customers, some ready-made, right in the backyard customers for facilities such as the old Mexicali Blues building. With that, I took this to the Planning Commission with a recommendation to approve, and they send it to you with a recommendation to approve as well.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, we're still in the public hearing, so we're going to talk about this on the dais, but is there anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Yes. If you, so please come on up.
Oops.
Timer. I'm sorry.
Everybody. My name's Tammy Berger, and I am a Lakewood shared time owner. And I need a little bit of... Pardon?
I'm sorry, ma'am. This is a public hearing on the matter of changing this to C1.
Okay.
This is a rezoning request, so
Yeah.
this is a rezoning request that's out behind the old Mexicali Blues as
Right.
far as the public hearing. You were an owner at Lakewood and for Oasis? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is not a public hearing to
Right.
discuss that portion of it.
Well, I just needed a little bit of clarification because,
I'll be happy to give you Mr. Tegetoff's number, if you want to give me your phone number, but at this point in time, we're going to need to stick with our agenda.
so just,
Yeah, if you'd be happy to, if you write your phone number on there, I will have Jeff Tegetoff call you.
okay, because I've been told it has not closed.
I understand. Like I said, I'll personally give Jeff his number and have him call you.
Ma'am, it's in my ward. If you want to stick around until after the meeting, I will come over and talk to you, see if I can help you.
I'm sorry.
You're in my ward. If you want to stick around till after the meeting, I'll come out and talk to you and see if I can help you. Okay?
All right, thank you. All right, public hearing on the 414 MCM development. Anybody like to speak on that? Please come on up. Nice shirt.
Yes, I just wanted to say that we have had tremendous help.
Excuse
from
me,
your
sir.
city.
Your name,
Oh,
please?
Jim Crawford. Jim Crawford. I just wanted to say that we have had wonderful help from your city planner directing us through this. And we've had a number of meetings, and we don't have a lot to say because the city planner, Carrie, has just done a marvelous job with us. I've been in other developments in other states, and I have never had the help that I've had from your city. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I just want to thank everybody, especially the city planner, Carrie, that we've got this way, and he's made it very easy on us to understand everything that he wanted.
Very good. I appreciate that, yes.
I just had one quick comment here. My name's Joe McDevitt. I'm a former Apache pilot in the Army National Guard, Chief Warrant Officer 2, small business owner-owned, black and white roofing. And my goal is to be the next Donald Trump. So we're really happy about what's going on there. So we're optimistic. We're going to try to build the largest housing development around. So
very good.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for your service.
All right, anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Seeing none. I'm sorry? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Motion. Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing is closed. Now we're going to move on to the motion portion of this to approve a special use permit 414 MCM Development, Inc. is requesting a SUP for a residential development on property zone C1, which is general commercial. Do you have anything else to add, City Planner Carrie Patterson?
No, sir, I don't, but if there's questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Alderman Oste.
Yeah, I just want to carry for the record to let the public know exactly where this development is being located. I mean, I personally know where it's at, but just for the record.
Probably the easiest way for me to tell you where it is, it's the property located directly behind the old Mexicali Blues. It's 35 acres that goes back there. It's a piece of property that was annexed into the city in 2009 by Tobro Inc. But the hope is we can get some commercial on the frontage and get a super nice residential development back in there behind there. And we all know how much we need housing and that it's one of my focuses, as you know, and I'm very excited to present this to you tonight.
That's all. Just want to support the cause. Just so the public is aware exactly where this is going.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, I just want to thank Kerry Patterson for all the work he's done. It's been a big issue in Osage Beach about trying to find more housing, affordable housing. I know he and I have been trying to work together on some other avenues to see if we could get something like this done in some other locations. So I just want to applaud. Folks, if you want to know who's out there really banging away and trying to fix this, it's Kerry Patterson. And I just want to thank him for that. And even though I got to be a Navy guy supporting an Army guy, I'm in full support of this motion.
All right, any other comments or questions from the board? Alderman Rucker.
Is that accessibility carry off of runabout? Is where that, if I'm looking here, it looks like runabout goes down and makes
Okay,
that
so
angle.
yeah, it has frontage on both the highway and runabout. So once we get into the plating process, we will work on having ingress and egress from both locations.
They have frontage on the highway?
So if you look at the map that came in, the commercial part, they also own. Okay, so but it's not involved in the SUP, it's staying
okay.
commercial.
So
So
that
we'll
section-
bring in, yes, we'll bring in a road. Hopefully, there's kind of a big hole there, so we'll figure out a way. But the goal will be to have dual entrance from both Osage Beach Parkway, or 54, I guess, at that point, and then runabout, yes.
Okay, I didn't understand that it included the property where.
It includes all the property that's in front.
Okay, but it's just the back property that we're dealing with the.
SUP.
SUP.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yep.
All right, any other comments from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Alderman Osteen, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Exciting project, gentlemen, thank you.
Congrats, good luck.
What is the first and second? So.
It's just a motion to
Just the
approve.
first, okay.
All right, next we're going to move on to Bill 24-69, an ordinance to the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, approving a funding agreement consideration for the Patriots Equity Partners LLC proposal for Chapter 100 support for Anglers Outpost. This is the first and second reading. I'll turn it over to our City Attorney, Cole Bradbury.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. As the mayor said, yes, this is a first and second reading. So the justification for the first and the second is the staff, we screwed up, we dropped the ball. This was supposed to be on the last board agenda, and Tara and I just whiffed on it. So we had intended to do a normal first and second, but we did not want to hold up this project, so that is the reason why we're doing a first and a second. That, and we routinely approve this form of agreement for all of our projects. It's not, we're not expending any city taxpayer dollars. In fact, we're spending other people's money, so that's the justification for the first and second reading. This is a funding agreement for a Chapter 100 proposal for what's been called, actually, is Anglers Outpost. Anglers Outpost, if you recall, is the fisherman-focused suite garage hotel concept that is proposed to be going in down on the south end of town. If you're trying to visualize the property we're talking about, it is behind and to the left of Dollar General. If you're looking at the front of Dollar General, it goes from the Parkway to the Expressway. It's about 9 acres. The developer has submitted proposed documents, and we have gotten as far as we can without starting to spend pretty significant outside dollars with Columbia Capital and Gilmore and Bell. And we believe that it is ready for their review to tell us, to give us their professional opinions of the Chapter 100 proposal. Chapter 100 is a tax abatement procedure similar to but different from the Chapter 353. And they've decided to proceed with an application. Staff does not have a recommendation at this time, but we're comfortable enough with where we're at to get to this next level of due diligence before we make a recommendation to the board. So this funding agreement lets them send us some money so we can start paying Mark and Jeff to take a look at their proposal and give us their professional opinions. So with that, staff does recommend approval and would request both the first and second reading to keep the project moving.
Comments, questions from the board? Alderman Hoffman.
Yes, Cole, does this process take into account the but-for approach in any way, or is it?
So our guidelines do not currently have that in there, but we've discussed that with the developer. I'll tell you that I personally think that that will be part of my recommendation, that if it's not necessary, we shouldn't do it. So we do need to update our guidelines. That was something that kind of got waylaid with Gina leaving and Devin starting, because it was in Gina's hands when she left. That is something I'm eager to dive into when I have time. Haha. But yeah, I do think that the board should strongly consider whether you consider it but for or the economic necessity of the incentive.
Okay, and that
I
doesn't.
don't think we should be giving out tax dollars just to give out tax dollars.
Correct, and Alderman Ross isn't here, so some of what I'm asking are questions he would have probably asked too.
Correct.
So I wanted to get it on the record. And my second question is Columbia Capital involved already on this project?
We've had very brief conversations with them, just kind of more of like a heads up, this is coming situation, but we have not engaged them to do any analysis yet.
Okay.
But they will be, and I'm eager to see what Jeff has to say about it.
Okay, excellent. And what's the amount?
For the funding agreement, I want to say it's 20 or 25,000.
I think it was 20 grand. I just
think
wanted
it's 20, and that number was vetted with both Mark and Jeff.
It was?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much.
That was the lead of the conversation is this enough? So.
Sure, and because it's really about marketing and advertising, is that correct? Or what's the 20,000 going to?
The 20,000 is for the developer to pay the city so that we have money to pay Mark and Jeff without using tax dollars to fund their project.
So it's part of the vetting process?
Yeah, so essentially they are making sure that the taxpayers are not funding the analysis for this project that is for their benefit.
Excellent, okay. All right, thank you.
That's the philosophy behind the funding agreements.
Perfect.
Alderman Rose.
The verbiage proposed hotel, if I recall, this basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, is for the fishermen to park their trailers and they have a place to stay, which they would either lease or buy that section.
It is everything that has been pitched to us so far has been a hotel price use structure. So this is.
So they would rent.
So think very much like the toy boxes that are going in up by Baxter's, but they are pitching it as a hotel, much like it would be nightly rental, taxable. This is a commercial use, so they could not sell these as condos. That carries domain, but that creates all kinds of problems with the zoning there. But this is a hotel. This is a hotel with a lobby, with a guest desk, it's just a very oddly configured suite, if you will.
Okay.
Well, and I'll clarify a little bit. It's 4 different buildings. Each building has 6 units, and then the units are 2 stories tall. So each unit would have 6 apartments or hotels, but they'll pull the boat in with or truck with their boat, and then they can go upstairs, 2 living quarters, a kitchenette in the middle, but then they're also looking at doing a kind of a steakhouse, restaurant, bar, and so tax dollars will come there too, but they can rent for the weekend for big boat tournaments, and then they take off. So they're not owning them, they're just renting them.
Okay.
It's about an $11 million project, and I do just want to follow up on the answer I gave you. If it were not a hotel, that would drastically alter the cost-benefit analysis that Alderman Hoffman just asked about. So if it turns out to be condos, that's a very different ballgame.
Correct, yes.
From staff's point of view, it should be from your point of view.
Revenue, taxes,
everything.
yes.
So everything that it has been consistently, it has only ever been labeled a hotel.
Okay, thank you. And just to reiterate, this is also in my ward as well as Alderman Hoffman. And the Adamans outpost that we're talking about, which I will clarify, is the property right adjacent to Dollar General on the Parkway west of KK, where you can see they've graded the land there and started working. That's where it's going to be. Okay, just thought I'd clarify.
And if I can just add one more comment about that particular location, Kerry would say it if he was in here. That lot was a wooded, kind of rocky piece of nothing, and we would probably have not held out great hope for a great use of that piece of land. So for this to become a highly tax-producing, productive development on that parcel would be a big win should the project go forward.
There was a nice deer path back there at one time, but that's about it.
Alderman Rucker.
I just want to clarify again. The vote tonight has nothing to do with approving this project or not.
Correct.
The vote tonight is only to approve the funding agreement, which provides the developer to funnel money to us so we can hire people to provide us with additional information. And I think it's real clear. I want the public to make sure this is not approving this project.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Staff has no opinion up or down on the project at this time.
That's not negative or positive.
No, just to be decided.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve first reading.
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, second reading, same bill, Bill 24-69, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, approving a funding agreement for consideration of the Patriots Equity Partners, did that without stopping, LLC proposal for Chapter 100 support for Anglers Outpost, second reading. Anybody think of anything in the last 2 seconds? Nope. Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Barella, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross? Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Barella?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes as well. Next, we're going to move on an ordinance, Bill 24-74, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a service agreement with Huber and Associates for IT managed services for cybersecurity, networking, and phone support. This is the first reading. IT Manager Michael Bean, please.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. Recently, we went out to bid for our IT managed services as our contract with /Technologies is coming to an end at the end of the year. We went out to bid in late September. We had a total of 7 responses. The team that reviewed the responses was Devin, April, Travis, and myself. The 2 finalists that we ended up making our way down was Huber and Marco. Again, as stated, the 3 pieces that we're asking for help on is the cybersecurity side of the house, network administration, and the phone management. At the end of the day, it was unanimous. We all ended up deciding that Huber and Associates closely fits what we currently need. The bid tab is included in there. Huber and Associates came in about in the middle of the price range on everybody that submitted the bid. They are asking, or it would be a $7,500 onboarding with a $10,600 per month fee. As it relates to what we currently pay right now, just to give you an idea, we pay $7,028.57 a month for /, but that's not including the $85,000 a year they had put into, or what we had approval for this year for a security package. I ended up not implementing that due to some of the issues we were seeing on the back end, so that money is still currently out there and it will not be used. So that breaks down to about $14,000 a month / would have been charging us. So Huber and Associates actually came in underneath of where we would be with /. That's basically everything. If I have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Very good. Yes.
And if I could just add something, this contract review is a little bit delayed on my end because of some other pressing matters, but the contract you're voting on is complete. It is missing our standard rider, which they will have and approve before second reading, but we wanted to keep this on the agenda tonight because otherwise there would be a slight lapse in services. But I just wanted to make the board aware that there will be it's our standard, completely standard long form rider of our standard terms being attached to this. That's not Michael's fault. That's on me. I was pulled away by other things.
And the rider has been sent to Huber and Associates, and she will get that back to us probably by tomorrow.
Bring it, Alderman Rucker.
1-year contract, multi-years extensions, where are we at with that?
I apologize. We built it the same way we did with the / 3 years with the city's option for a year at a time after that with annual reviews every year. So it gives the city some flexibility if we're not happy.
Alderman Osteen.
Kudos, Mr. Bean, for putting more time on the sheet than I care to read. You could have just said, we like you.
Yeah. Okay.
The only thing that concerns me about this is the hourly fee we pay for additional services of $150 to $225 per hour. Have we estimated any of the costs, what that would entail, what would basically the reason they would have to do an hourly cost for services?
Well, the hourly cost that they put that in there, / it did the same thing. It's more of an emergency type thing. We call them outside of hours an emergency. We have some sort of threat that they need that's outside of their standard contractual obligation. They just want us to know that that is their hourly rate from there. So we did ask for the $30,000 just as we built into the / if any emergencies come up. But yeah, that's a pretty standard rate for IT services.
Do we have a history of / how often we were required, or we contacted them after traditional business hours, et cetera?
I could get into the details, but the way it worked out was most of the time I would come in and we didn't utilize their after-hours needs. And honestly, if we were to use Huber, it would be in a very detrimental way, meaning the city would be compromised at some level. So we would have bigger issues, I think, than just the monetary cost. I mean,
Just want to clarify that, because I think a lot of people on the board saw that number and thought, well, how often would we have to utilize that after?
very little to none would be the hope. Very little to none.
Okay, that's all.
We just have to remember, we are running an emergency dispatch service that may need that. So I come
Correct.
from the field of emergency service, and you just always have to be ready to give staff the ability to run with an emergency situation. So
But the way it's structured
kinda
now,
there.
I'm sorry, Kip. The way it's structured now is if something pops up overnight, 911 calls me. That's the standard procedure as it should be. They will have 24-hour monitoring over it, but the first call will be myself and Travis. And then in special needs, we would call on them.
Alderman Hoffman.
Where's the company located at?
That was I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. They're local out of Jefferson City.
They are, okay. What's the turnover process going to be from / to these guys? Are they going to be able to work together, or should we expect there to be? I foresee / not being helpful. Is my point.
I'll speak to you more offline about that, but we thought about that, and our hope is that with your guys' approval and with Devin's approval, that we would bring Huber and Associates in December 1st. They would not charge us the first month's fee. It would just be the onboarding, and that would be the knowledge transfer that we hope to get from / technology. So our thought and our hope is that we set up a smooth transition. I can't guarantee / willingness to play with that, but that's our hope, that some of the details and some of the licensing aspects can be transferred from one to the other with that little bit of overlap. But Huber did agree that for the first month, they technically won't be on the books for managed service. It would just be the onboarding, so they waived the first month's fee while we onboard for the month of December.
It's probably going to take about a month to do.
Yeah, at least. And I'm doing my best right now beforehand, and I'm trying to do as much as I can to make that transition as smooth as possible. Haven't got as much as I would like out of / but I'm doing everything I can to get as much information for Huber to hit the ground running.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Alderman Rose.
I'd just like to clarify, the boarding fee of $7,500, is that terminology like to consummate a contract? What does that mean?
So the way they broke it down is they'll send some of their lead technicians down here. They're getting to know our network. They install our software. It's just truly that time where they get a feel for our entire domain. We'll take them out to Leasify, Grand Glaze, just to better know everything that we have and get their products in on all of our servers, all of our switches, all of that stuff. So it's truly the implementation of their monitoring software and the creating of their run book, which is their guideline to everything that they're going to be doing.
So how long will that take?
It'll take much longer than a month, but generally it's about with / it was about 6 months for the true onboarding to finish. I mean, there's a lot that goes into building a portfolio to manage something like what we have. So, yeah, it would hopefully start December 1st, but it'll take as long as it needs to take, essentially.
Well, obviously the pyramid is in dire need to have it done. I just cringe at the $10,000 monthly fee.
Yes, ma'am.
We got to do it.
Yeah, and just to be honest, I never see us going away from a hybrid system, what we have now. Even prior to the managed services with /, we've always utilized a third-party managed service. We just didn't have the day-to-day contract. It's impossible for one or two guys to run the type of, infrastructure that we have here. So we'll yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Alderman Barilla.
I guess my question was a little bit along those lines of, is this just for the cybersecurity and the phone system, and like the daily help desk calls would be directed towards you first before?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Cybersecurity and the networking aspect, trying to hire a networker down here, I don't believe the city's ever had a networker on staff, so we've always went outside for that exact reason. The phone system is another key piece to that, and then the cybersecurity aspect. Travis and myself will take all level 1, level 2 support, and then that level 3, and then specifically like the police department and the ambulance that / has never been able to help with. Unfortunately, most of their needs are on site, and we just felt it was best use of taxpayers' money and for the city to bring that direct contact with our users back in-house and not force it somewhere else.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Hoffman, did you have something?
Well, I was just going to kind of clarify. IT and cybersecurity and stuff is very complicated. It's hard to dumb it down, but in a way, you got to get all your Legos and Tinker Toys out and see which ones fit.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Bill 24-74 passes. Next, we have Bill 24-75, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, establishing and providing for the election procedures to be followed for the general municipal election to be held April 8, 2025 in the City of Osage Beach, Missouri. This is the first reading. City Clerk Tara Barrett.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. What this ordinance says is this allows me to go ahead and publish and post and get you guys started with the election process that is going to open December 10th. Tuesday, so I just need a motion to approve for the first reading, get the second one done on the 7th, and we open up on the 10th Tuesday for packets for each ward has a position open. I recommend approval.
Any comments for Tara? Alderman Rucker.
Is this a state statute that gives us the guidelines on when we open, when we close?
Correct, yep.
Okay, I thought so. I was 99% sure of that. With that being said, how can we not be open every day that they say we're supposed to? How can we not be open on the holiday or since the statute says from 8 to 5 and that's what it says, how can we deviate from that?
As long as I publish the days that the offices are closed, I'm open, as long as I'm open opening day and closing day, I'm good. As long as I publish the days that I'm closed, I'm good to go.
So on the closing day, which will be New Year's Eve, you're going to have to be here till 5 o'clock.
I have to be here, yes. And we are open anyway, so
Yeah.
I have to be here on
Okay.
New Year's Eve.
We had that issue last year when the final day was a day we were closed, the city hall was, or some cities were closed. It
Right.
might have been New Year's Eve or something like that. And some cities had to send people in. One person had to sit at City Hall while it was closed in case somebody came in to file. So it's the first day and the last day. Other than that, we can follow our business schedule, but those are the magic days.
Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else? If not, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Barrell, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right. Next, we have Bill 24-76, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sign a contract order number 1 with Capital Paving and Construction, LLC, for the Osage Beach Parkway Extension Project for an amount not to exceed $1,450. This is the first reading. Is this you, Drew?
Yep, this is me.
All right, City Engineer Drew Bowman.
Yep, the project of extending Osage Beach Parkway to Executive Drive. In the plans, the work was initially supposed to occur from a closed shoulder. Due to the size of the shoulder at Executive Drive, the access that used to be accessible to Highway 54, which is now closed, due to the size of the equipment that the subcontractor, which is Collins and Herman, uses and requires, basically they said that they needed to close a lane. So this $1,450 is just the money that they needed to safely close part of Highway 54 so they could complete the work and complete this project. Be happy to answer any further questions.
Questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion, a motion to approve first reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, have a second. Alderman Barella. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Next, we have Bill 24-77, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing a time extension to the design service agreement with engineering surveys and services for Highway 42 sidewalk project. This is the first and second reading. City Engineer Drew Bowman again.
Yeah, this is just a second time extension with engineering surveys and services. Due to the nature of this project, we just got approved right-of-way plans, so we can now start acquiring right-of-way. This extension just allows us more time to actually complete the project by MoDOT's direction. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, first
Excuse me,
reading.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I apologize.
Yes.
I had a question back on Bill 2476. I realize we've passed the first reading. Wouldn't this been able to be handled by a change order rather than a change in the ordinance? Can't that just be a change order? I forgot to ask that. I'm sorry.
To be first, very honest, I haven't looked at this one, but I'm guessing it's because it increases the not to exceed.
Right.
Correct.
So it's not within the contingent that's within the amount?
Correct.
Because it's a MoDOT project, they don't allow contingency items. They don't, yeah. So this is a cost share, yeah.
Yeah, what Drew said.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. All right, first reading passed 2477. Now we're going to have the second reading of the same bill. An ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing a time extension to the design service agreement with engineering surveys and services for the Highway 42 sidewalk project. If I don't have any comments or questions, do I have an approval or a motion to approve second reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker, roll call, please.
Alderman Barella.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Ross. Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Next, we have Resolution 2024-07, a resolution appointing to Board of Directors of the Osage Beach Commons Community Improvements District, Devon Lake City Administrator. You want to take this one, City Attorney?
Sure. Mayor, members of the board, this is a motion to, I don't want to sound harsh, but replace Gina with Devon on the Osage Beach Commons CID board. We have a meeting coming up here, and we realize that Gina is still technically holds that board seat. We're going to have a couple of these other fixes coming for you, but for now, we just need to get this one knocked out. And staff has recommended approval.
Alderman Hoffman.
Is it pretty much just automatic that we put a city administrator as our choice?
We have traditionally always done the city administrator, the mayor, and I believe it has traditionally been the president of the Board of Aldermen, so Alderman Ross sits on several of these. There has been discussion since we approved all the OASIS appointments that we maybe should do an alderman whose ward the project is in. We have not yet had the opportunity to float that in practice, but that's been discussed. But typically, it's always been the city administrator, mayor, and alderman.
Yeah, and I think there's some support to do it that way. I know we discussed this earlier. I didn't know if this was the right time to bring it up, but
I've heard that support, and it's whenever the next one of these comes up or whenever reappointments come around. I think I've actually heard a board consensus, but This is not that because the city administrator always has one of them, and that gives I think that's a good policy for us to have Devin or Gina
Oh, yeah.
or Nancy or whoever the city administrator was sitting on the board.
Sure, okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Resolution pass. Next, we have a motion to approve the purchase of 4 soft starters from Municipal Equipment Company for a price not to exceed $25,181.60. Public Works Operations Manager, Zach Wilbur, please.
Thank you. Mayor, members of the board, so this is June of '23. 4 soft starters were ordered from Municipal Equipment Company. At that time, I mean, they still have a really long lead time, but at that time, they had a crazy lead time coming out of COVID. The individual that placed the order didn't have the authority to place it, nor did my former position, but due to staff turnover, both those individuals were gone and no one knew about this order. The order was contingent on the 4 core charges on the bad starters. So, we fast forward a little bit, sewer superintendent comes in, we got 4 bad soft starters, we send them off to get repaired. They came back, we start using them, and then these 4 brand new ones show up. So it was not going to be over the $25,000 purchasing limit, but then since we repaired those bad starters, we didn't have the cores to send back. And now we had to pay the full price, which came up to $25,181. When they showed up this year, we found out that they were ordered. We've recently been invoiced. We're happy to answer any questions. It's kind of something that just showed up on our doorstep. I do recommend approval. I would like to keep the units. We have already used one. There are 3 that we could send back. These starters do the 20 horsepower pump, so it's our mid-sized units. We do have a lot of them in the system, and the current lead times is like 3 to 4 months on a starter. So it's nice to have a couple on the shelf, just because when one goes down, it's hard to get a replacement right away. Thank you.
Alderman Hoffman.
You just answered my question.
All right. Any other?
Well done.
Alderman Osteen.
If we already have the equipment, we've already been invoiced, I'm surprised we're requesting payment of something we already have.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Just saying, it seems kind of funny to me that, we already have these in inventory, we've already been invoiced them, but we need approval to pay for them. That's all I'm saying.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, all those in favor?
Aye.
If we can approve, what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
The creditors are going to come knocking.
All right, a couple more things, folks. Discussion. The rest will go really quick, right?
I hope so.
Just kidding. All right, this is a discussion on 3 Seasons and Route KK intersection. City Engineer Drew Bowman.
We received a petition from concerned citizens about the intersection at 3 Seasons and Route KK. Their concern, as presented in the petition, the area residents have an ongoing traffic issue related to the turn from Missouri Highway KK onto 3 Seasons Road. This intersection is not only a safety concern due to accidents and delayed travel times, but also has a cost to local citizens, residents, and businesses, money, time, and to repair, replace tires, equipment due to curb impact. The road is used by passenger vehicles, extremely large race boats, trailers, and equipment. The short turn radius and limited lane function also impacts travel in a negative way. That impact is felt through additional costs and undue risk to million-dollar boats and equipment. So as I understand it, there is a large equipment and trailers and boats that make this turn from Highway KK onto 3 Seasons Road. and that turn is restricted by an elevated curb and curb inlet. The radius of that turn is very narrow, and even vehicles with extended frame lengths, say like an SUV or a truck, generally have to take more than their generally accepted lane to make that turn. So they're coming and turning into oncoming traffic to make the turn, let alone a large trailer that has to turn into oncoming traffic, block a majority of the whole intersection just to make the turn and not be hung up by the curb. As far as I understand it, this petition wants the city to consider changing the geometrics of this intersection. I have some ideas, and this has been looked at previously by our on-call engineer, Cochran Engineering, and they have an estimate from 2022, and they have some roughed out plans, and I generally agree with their assessment and generally agree with their layout of the geometrics, and I think it would probably solve the problem. Just kind of want to get board direction on how you would like to address this petition and how to move forward.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes, I've taken my wave runners on a trailer on that turn often to go down to Performance, and even just my wave runners was tricky at times. Performance has some big boats that come out of there. That intersection is not good in my opinion. I think we need to get it fixed. Is that road ours? Is everything there ours? There's no MoDOT involved. There's no county involved. It's all us.
KK is MoDOT's.
Yeah.
Three Seasons is ours.
Okay. But all the work we're going to do is on our stuff. And
It'd be in MoDOT's right away, but we've had some conversations with MoDOT, and they've blessed us doing it.
Okay, I just didn't want to.
They've told us there's no MoDOT hold up on us doing it.
Okay, I just didn't want to get too far down this road, and then all of a sudden MoDOT says you can't do any of that. So.
It's a right turn lane off of KK, so really would be working mostly on a state highway.
Okay. Well, again, I will reiterate. I think that I've seen some accidents there. I think this is an important thing to get done.
Did you just say you didn't want to go down this road?
Sometimes I decide to turn around.
Alderman Osteen.
I got two questions. First of all, is Three Seasons Road within city limits?
That's what you just asked.
So I just asked.
Yes.
It is the cutoff, correct?
Huh?
It's the edge.
It is the edge. And secondly, traffic study. Before we make any decisions, obviously, there needs to be a traffic study done on the usage of the road, correct?
Right, which is, I think, the petition is trying to encourage us to know that there is large vehicle use on this road. I mean, yeah, it's anecdotal.
Cost of $500,000 to $750,000. Obviously, first and foremost, we have to do a traffic study on the road, correct?
As I said, this might be more of a Kerry question, but traffic studies are really more of a volume issue. Kerry can answer this better, but I mean, this is we're discussing it as a safety issue.
They can look at uses,
And
but
I'll just tell you, I live down there, and everything had I known this petition was going around, I'd have signed it. But yeah, I think traffic studies are more of a volume issue than a safety issue.
Carrie?
Well, thanks for answering that, Counselor. You have a job in planning in your future if
I don't
if you ever want to take a pay cut. As far as traffic study goes, Alderman Osteen, certainly a situation where typically we would require a traffic study if we were looking at something that was going to increase the volume on it. Yes, amazingly enough, he was correct about that. Not necessarily in a reconstruction of, a road that we can, I wouldn't say that it's the volume that causes the issue as much as the type of traffic that we're dealing with. It's kind of one of those things that we deal with at the Lake of the Ozarks, having things like Redhead Yacht Club and Performance Boats down a back road of that type. Now, I will say that I think we need to check in to see if we actually do own that portion of the road, because I'm not sure that we do. but it's also something that, along with the city, the state, and perhaps the road district, if they would want to be able to throw in, because they're capable of doing that as well. But those are a few things that I think we should probably take a look at before we toss a $500,000 on this thing.
Yeah. Why would the precedent have been set that anytime we're going to install a new stoplight, stop sign, et cetera, within the city of Beach, it was always based on a traffic study?
No, I
Not
wouldn't.
just
I
like,
wouldn't know
hey,
where that
there's-
came from. But
People are pulling 50-foot boats down the road. Well, guess what? That's not on us.
well, yes. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you kind of wonder, and specifically in this situation, if this is our dime that should pay for this. I'll be straight up with that. I didn't know anything about this project, to be candid with you. But I think it's something we should look very close at to see that this is something that we should be, footing any portion of the bill, especially the entire portion of the bill. I don't disagree at all with the necessity of it, because I go down there too. I don't pull any jet skis, but I don't drive that well sometimes either. So, but as far as us putting this kind of money in it, I definitely think it's something we need to figure out if we actually have that responsibility, and we also have the opportunity to see if there's any money that can be put in from the private property owners down that road that are having so much trouble with it and causing some of that trouble. Because I don't necessarily see that it should necessarily be our citizens who, make that fix to assist a business that is outside the city limits that is having the most issues. So I think that's something to look at.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Alderman Rose.
Okay, KK is a state highway.
Correct.
And I presume we're going to have to use some of, Dogwood property to extend, to make that turn lane wide enough.
It depends.
I'm looking at Drew.
It depends. It depends where the right-of-way lines are. It depends on where the right-of-way lines are. The state owns generally, the state generally owns 60 feet center, from center. We own generally something in that realm, but it all just depends. We already own property. The state already owns property to a certain extent through there. We may, based on some of the drawings that I have, we may need some extra property, but it would be insignificant as far as impact.
So, to clarify, the discussion with MoDOT is to see if they would share the cost in putting this in?
The first
Yes,
conversation was, would they object to us doing it? Drew and I have discussed that it feels like a potential cost share project. The ownership issues of the road. I think we've consistently maintained the road, the entire thing.
As far as I know, yes.
Although the line around there gets a little wonky in that exact, right at that vicinity, because it's the corner of city limits. But we maintain a lot. We definitely own most of Three Seasons. Whether we own that exact little part is depends on, the maps would say not, but.
Surely MoDOT will realize, and does realize, that it is
They-
terrible.
Yeah, I think they're aware that it's a safety concern, and with their top priority being safety, I think they'd be highly motivated to pitch in some regard. I can't speak for them what their budget allows or how that process goes forward, but if we bring this to their attention, I would think that they would be motivated to help us in some regard. I don't know how much, I can't speak for that, but.
Thank you.
Alderman Rucker.
Couple of things. First of all, this is a discussion item, so we're not needing to take any action according to this. But I do believe there should have been some action taken us, because I am surprised we're not accepting the petition that has been filed with us, if it was filed appropriately. So I think that a lot of the questions that have been brought up here, are questions that I had. The only concern I have is I'm a little concerned that we've spent money on this project already before we've had the discussion to see that the the board is in need of wanting to know those numbers. So I do have a little concern about that expenditure there. But I do think we need to get some answers to a lot of the questions that the board has brought forth, and then we can decide. But I just think that, we need to, if anything, I'm surprised we don't need a motion to accept the petition, but at least it is now on public record that we've received it. So and I think that is part of the things we should have done.
I think the petitions you're thinking of accepting are like petitions to accept a roadway or accept infrastructure. This is just a citizen petition, or a citizen request to consider something, and I think by doing that, there's no magic legal words to accept it. We've received it, and they've asked us to consider it, and that's what we're doing tonight.
And to address your concern, maybe in the past we have spent some money to look into this, but as of this time, we've not had Cochrane do anything. I reached out to them to see if anything had been looked at or considered, and they actually saw this on the agenda and reached out to me and said, hey, we did these plans for you guys in the past. I don't know if you have access to them. Here they are again. Disregard if you don't need them.
I didn't know for sure who on staff acknowledged it. I didn't want to throw any, cast any stones. I just wanted to just make that broad statement there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs any more.
Drew, do you have enough direction as of now from, based on this discussion, what to do next? If not,
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I didn't know, could you talk about, I mean, it sounds to me like the next step would be talking to MoDOT to say, hey, would you share in this and come up with some sort of.
I think, yeah, I can, if that's the board's direction, that you'd like to at least initiate a talk or like an informal talk with MoDOT to decide whether or not they would have any interest.
Well,
in
I
this
think a
project
price would be very interesting. How much are we talking here might be the very first thing. Alderman Osteen.
There are two sides of that road turning off of it. There's the Dogwood property from the old golf course. There's Three Seasons, or not Three Seasons, the Oaks property neighborhood. So you would have to look at easements on either two different entities, correct?
No. Because we're only talking about the KK onto Three Seasons turning movement. So all of the changes that I think have been discussed have been in that quadrant, in that corner of the intersection.
Yeah,
So there's no.
I did receive these drawings.
The other movements are fine. It's not a light. It's just a turn lane.
It's stop controlled. There's a stop sign on Three Seasons. There's a right turn, dedicated right turn lane from Three Seasons onto, I'll call that West KK, and there's a left turn lane onto East KK. It would just be on the Osage Beach side of the road, so the expressway side. Yeah, the Dogwood side. Yeah. It's very minimal impact.
It would be a foot, give or take, because they're talking about two 12-foot lanes and a 15-foot slip lane. So I would say that the first thing we need to figure out is if we actually,
think about that, Ty. If we actually have ownership of it and it's actually in our city, because if I remember right, we only annexed up to the road because the annexation was for Dogwood Hills property and they didn't own the road. So I would say we need to take a look and see if that is actually in our city limits.
Well, that was actually going to be what I was going to say, so you're playing city attorney.
Well,
now,
I just want to make sure we have, I mean, it's a discussion item, but also he needs direction.
Yeah,
So
and I guess if I were going to make a recommendation, let us figure out if this is something we should even be looking at, and if it's not, how we need to proceed.
So I think those are all the questions that were asked. Do we own it?
Yes.
What kind of cost are we talking about? What kind of feasibility study?
Yeah.
What, give us some of that give us some of those answers.
And I think some of the, at least from my perspective, the obvious question is, okay, let's say that the road at the stop sign, within the project limits, is not in city limits, although we have been maintaining it for decades. We've been taking care of it, even though it may not actually be in city limits. If that's the case, does the board say that's not our problem?
Well, why don't we wait till we get there?
Or is that a, because it's our, I mean, I think it's, we might own it even if it's not in limits, or we could annex it, I mean, we could annex it in about 30 seconds, but.
How about we find out if we own it first?
Sure.
And then maybe bring it back to the next meeting or when we have that. But rather than just saying, we talked about it and we did our job, I think we need to give some direction. Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, Cole, do you want, since it's in my ward, do you want me to reach out to Special Road District, or is that something the staff should do?
Would love to have that help.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get on it Monday.
That'd be great.
Good.
Yep.
All right. We good now?
Yeah, I think so. Feel good about it.
Very good. All right.
Go get 'em, Drew.
Thank you, Alderman Hoffman. All right. Last item of business, we have discussion on the fiscal year 2025. The city administrator, Devin Lake, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. I presented you with a draft number 1 of the fiscal year 2025 operating budget. I will take any questions or concerns that you have.
All right, board. Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, this is kind of coming, since Richard's not here, he kind of told me this. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. He seems optimistic and pleased so far with the budget process, as well as I do. It seems to be flowing in the right direction. And I know I was planning on just getting into it over the weekend a little bit deeper, but so far it seems like it's going the right way.
All right, Alderman Osteen.
A few comments. First and foremost, if anybody's hungry, this is when you should order DoorDash. Because I can keep us here another hour with just as much as I have regarding the first draft.
Now, I've got at least a half hour's worth myself.
I feel like
I'll be going to the bathroom now.
there's so much to dive into, and I'm the last person who needs another meeting on my agenda. But I feel like there's so much for us to unpack here and discuss that we should call another special meeting. And once again, I'm the last person on this dais who needs another meeting in life. But I can keep us here for hours with line item by line item questions that I have. Alderman Rucker is also saying he's got multiple.
I would like to echo that. I concur with that.
Because it's a new process, because there's so much to unpack, there's so much to discuss, I feel like this is not the avenue or the venue for us to dive into the details of the questions that we have. So I personally would like to table this and call a special session for next week. And once again, I'm the last person who needs another meeting on their agenda. So for me to say that tells you something, that I've got a lot of questions and a lot of things that need clarified. And I think most of the board will support that. We don't want to sit here for another 2 to 3 hours discussing this budget.
I echo that. I generally get this document like this 5 days before the first budget meeting. And I got it 7 days before this meeting, and I literally dove into it yesterday and spent from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And the more I got into it, the more I was like, no. I do believe it needs some more time. I mean, I think I found $175,000 that I can't justify. It's either my mess up or there's a mess up somewhere. I'm still trying to track that. I could be making a mistake. I could very well. And like I said, I was busy all day today with other things and didn't get a chance to shoot my list of many questions. So I would like to do, I don't want to sit here tonight and do this. I don't know whether I'll be happy to sit down with Devin, but there's many of these things that needs to be shared with the rest of the board, so.
Well, would anybody like to make that informative?
And good job. And most of mine are just clarification items, just so I can wrap my head around a lot of these line items.
Well, would you like to make that in the form of a motion?
Refreshing, but I just think there's just way too much, especially as a first draft of a budget that we just got a few days ago.
Can do a motion.
Motion.
But staff can get directions.
I would just ask that Devin put an email out to us and after she looks at scheduling.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
And schedule another meeting.
Very good. I kept looking like, yeah, we need a motion to, no, we don't, because it's just a discussion. So, yes, thank you. I finally caught up. But it sounds like the consensus of the board, since it is a discussion, discuss this, and maybe you could herd some cats next week.
I can do that.
Once again, Devin, it's not like we're going to rip this whole budget apart. You've done a great job, a really good job. But a lot of it's clarification, a lot of it is just wrap our heads around,
Okay, maybe we discussed this, I don't remember, those were days worth of conversations.
Yep.
A lot of mine are just clarified for me, I'm sure we talked about it before, but we could spend hours tonight trying to do this.
Sure. Yep, I can set that meeting up. Absolutely.
While we're there, though, can we, is there some times, days that do not work next week? So maybe we can minimize some of her hurting.
Probably the first thing I would ask is for a couple, at least half of the aldermen or more that are working still, so that's, even though us that are retired have got a busy schedule too, but, you know, are you better late in the afternoon at that 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
Late afternoon is fine for me.
Huh?
Late afternoon is fine for me, Celeste's the only one with the job on this board.
That's not accurate.
Hey, Carrie, we don't have a P and Z meeting next week, do we?
No, we do not.
Okay.
And we're closed Monday.
Yeah, we're closed Monday.
Oh, we are?
Do we know when Alderman Ross is back in town?
He was only gone for 4 days.
I think he's back Sunday, I think. Okay.
So Tuesday or Wednesday, 4:30, or
Wednesday's not for me, Tuesday fine, Friday.
Tuesday work for everyone?
Tuesday's good for me.
Tuesday's good
How-
for me.
How early?
Oh,
You're fine.
Tuesday, the 12th?
Veterans Day is Monday. That's the parade and everything, and then
Are we talking the 12th?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're talking late in the afternoon?
Well, we're talking.
I need late in the afternoon. Hopefully I might be visiting with the surgeon and finally get some direction on my back.
What's late? Is 2 late? Is 3 late?
3 to 4, I'm fine with Tuesday.
I'm good. I think, I look at these guys on what, I can do any kind of the day, or in the afternoon, excuse me.
3 o'clock's a good time to me.
Tentatively, three.
Three
I
too
mean,
early for you guys?
So we're looking at Tuesday?
Tuesday, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock on Tuesday.
Do you want me to go ahead and set it until 6? Do you?
Sure. I would do that. Yep, that
All
sounds
right.
good.
We don't have to have an end time anyway, we just have.
Are we just gonna do it on the dais then?
We'll probably, do it like we have the other meetings, I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah. So 3 o'clock Tuesday, we'll discuss the 2025 budget. Very good.
I didn't mean to speak on behalf of the board.
No, that was a good idea. Good idea. All right, we're going to move on to staff communications now, and we are going to start with our city administrator, Devin Lake.
I just have a few items. I want to congratulate Ty for making 15 years. That's a big milestone. I also want to thank Jamie. She's done some really awesome website updates.
Here, here.
She's doing a great job. And I really, really want to thank April for helping me with the budget and my frustrations and my newness. And she's just a wealth of knowledge on stuff, obviously, because she's been here forever. So I want to thank her for all her support. That's all I got.
Very good. All right. Assistant City Administrator, April White.
Hello, Mayor and members of the board. I would like to, I feel terrible because at the last meeting, I was technically on vacation and planning a wedding. And so I did not properly thank Eric and Patience and Dan and Mike for the Fall Festival. And I know in previous years, Mike helped a ton, and I did not this year. But you guys did a great job. I know Ron drove people around the entire day and nothing but good things. And then being at the city table, I heard great things. So I know it wasn't as heavily attended, like you said, but it was a super hot day, but everyone enjoyed it, and you guys did a great job, and you did a great hire with Patience. She, I know, jumped in head first and did a lot for you there too, so. And I wanted to congratulate Ty as well. I know all the staff out there thinks very highly of Ty, and I know the airport customers love Ty, and he's a great leader, and 15 years is a big deal, so thank you. And then this weekend, Michael and Travis spent their weekend when we were all off work, Saturday and Sunday. Michael and Travis were here with Forward Slash, and I don't know all the technicalities of it because I just do not know anything about that. All I know is when I walked into the server room on Monday, it looked a lot different. It did not look like my hair when I was 4 years old, when it was down to my butt and tangled up. That's what the wires looked like on Friday when I left, and then wires or wiring cables, I don't know what you call them, but it looked spectacular on Monday. So definitely ran a good brush through or comb through all that. And it was so much more than that. I'll let you talk about that. But lastly, I actually was going to thank Devin on this budget process. I have been absolutely impressed just new to it and just head first, and she just has amazed me. And thank you to the board for your grace and your patience on this, because obviously we lost a lot of experience and knowledge when Mike and Gina left, and it's been a whole new world for us. So we appreciate the grace that you have extended and the patience. But yeah, Devin's done a great job, so that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. City Clerk, Tara Barrett.
Well, since we're thanking people, I want to thank Abby Barrett for the great work she did on the health fair. She really got in there. Poor Maddie was sick, and her and April, when I got here on Thursday, they were handling it like true champs. They did really well and guiding people around and sending people on the way. The health fair went really well. She did a really good job. And then also contractor's license renewals are going out. We're sending them out by email. We're not doing any more, I'm not wasting postage. So any contractors out there that need to have your contractors renewed, you should be getting emails by us now. We're gonna start doing those over, going paperless. So get your renewals in. Those are due by December 31st. And other than that, my staff's doing great. That's all I have. That's about it.
All right. Thank you. City Treasurer, Carrie Bell.
Yes, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. Just real quick, we had the conversations about forwarding some of the costs for credit card fees onto the utility customers. And during that process, it caused us to kind of revisit the website and look at things. And I want to thank Jamie Rutledge and Keegan Powers for the efforts they made in updating those sites. And I encourage all of you to please take a look. And if you see anything, please feel free to make comments. But I think you'll see a big difference in that, and made it more user-friendly, and making sure we point out some of the other payment options that our customers have. So that's all I have.
Very good. City Attorney, Cole Bradbury.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Actually, I have a bunch tonight. First of all, as you know, we've had our film cruise with OBPD for the summer, and we have kind of gotten to look at those episodes and take a look and see, make sure that they are being fair to us and being accurate to us, and I think they certainly are. But Chief and I have been able to watch them along with the lieutenants, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our officers, because there is not a single thing that any of them have done that have given us the least bit of concern, and they come off as nothing but professional and helpful and wonderful to deal with the public. So I think that's really, with given the amount of footage and today's gotcha culture, that's super impressive, and I think that shows a job well done. The others I want to say, obviously, like Carrie likes to remind me every now and then, I'm not an expert on most things. I rely on the rest of the staff and the management team to get me up to speed on the things that they're experts in, so that I can talk about them half intelligently and sort of sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to recognize in particular the last few weeks, Carrie Bell, Drew, and especially Carrie and Ron for a few issues that have come up, in talking through some really complicated things that I have really no business, trying to talk about without them in the room. And I've leaned heavily on them, and just wanted to say thank you to you guys and Josh for all of their hard work in making me not sound like a complete fool. So,
There you go.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Chief Davis.
Well, I've got a few things. Our newest police officer recruit started the academy on this past Monday, Jordan Murray. He came to us from Laclede County. He worked in the jail at the sheriff's office there. So he'll graduate academy in March. We've got a new dispatcher that starts this coming Monday, Veterans Day, Peyton Davis, brand new to the business. Just remind everybody to come out and support the veterans this weekend with the parade. It starts at 1 o'clock here at the PD and goes down the Parkway to the Elks Lodge. And another thank you to Michael and Travis from this weekend. They kept communications up and running during their tangled mess downstairs, apparently. So appreciate that. We did have just want to thank the public again. The Carson family put on a 5K run this weekend. And they wanted to thank some of their, some of the different groups that come out and support them, COPS and Pregnancy Help Center and different stuff. So they raised about $1,200 for both of those organizations. Want to thank Jamie for today. We had a media day with our newest four-legged officer and Corporal Reiner. I'm getting to that. Hang on.
Hey, there's Freya.
And she had the media here today and put on a good thing. And I'd like to, last but not least, introduce Freya, our new police canine, and Corporal Reiner.
Yeah. Awesome.
Stephen, you want to introduce her?
She's off duty, she can do that.
So this is
I gotta show.
Officer Fred. She's a Belgian Malinois. And other than just being adorable, she's going to be probably one of the best things that I've had about my career. I'm humbled that I'm responsible for her. She's trained for narcotics detection, she's trained for tracking, and she's also trained for patrol apprehension, which in a perfect world we will never have to use. Unfortunately, we don't live in a broken world. Sorry, a perfect world. She's very proficient in all three. She was recently certified with me as her handler in Pikeville, Kentucky, through Canada Working Dog International, and we train daily. She's going to be rather efficient. Very well behaved. She's still getting used to the people other than in a training environment, and so I'm kind of keeping her close. But as time goes on, you'll see more officers out there with City Beach.
Very
Congratulations,
good.
Steve.
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you so much. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good to go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, Freya.
That's all I've got.
That's all you? All right. Building official, Ron White.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I think the only thing I'm going to point out this week, obviously, my staff is wonderful, but here recently, working with Josh so much and so much that he's done for compliance, working with the folks at the mall to take care of some safety violations. He's really went above and beyond on that. The other great news for the building department is that our new secretary starts on Tuesday. So we're looking forward to Michelle Day starting with us and getting her on board. That's it.
Very good. City planner, Carrie Patterson.
Mayor, just so much going on. And, you know, Cole's right, and it's kind of crazy as I look around. There's so much new in this group right here, you know, and it's excellent to have all these people to work with. It's, you know, it's great to have Ron's history. It's awesome to have Cole, who, you know, we sit and we are dealing with so many things that are far more complicated than it was, you know, even 15 years ago. And then you throw on top of that, you know, Devin and April. April asked me if I was okay today. I think that's probably the first time that's happened in my career here. It's like, she pulled me in her office. She's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "What?" So that's something new. But I got to tell you, it made me feel great, to be honest with you. And no, I don't know if I'm okay, but I'm working at it. But I just, you know, as far as our team goes,
Tomorrow's
our
his
team,
birthday. He's not okay.
our team is amazing, and I couldn't feel more blessed than to be part of it right now. And you know, it's been a bit of a rough week, so I'm just going to say thank you to everybody in this room, because this week has been a bit of a trial, and you know, we're making it through it. And again, with the things that happened this past week politically and that type of thing, get ready, because the money in this country is going to be very confident over the next few years. So,
Hear, hear.
And a lot of it's going to come here. So that's all I got. Thank you, sir.
Thank you much. Michael Bean, IT.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. I just want to thank Devin and April. I dread the budget. It stresses me out a lot, and it was amazing working with both of them. I mean that it's one of the things that I struggle with, the numbers part. So thank you both for making the process as easy as you did. I want to thank the board for all the confidence you guys are confiding in IT. I'm going to continue to do my best to pull the curtain back and let you guys in on some of the big projects that we have going on. As you all heard, we put in, Travis and myself put in pretty close to 25, 26 hours this weekend doing some cable cleanup work, removing 100 pounds of excess wires that is hanging on the back of really, really expensive equipment. So in the weeks to come, I will bring some pictures and let you guys see some of the work we're doing. And again, I just want to get you guys more involved, not get too technical and where your eyes glaze over, but let you know some of the great stuff we're doing down in IT. I want to congratulate Travis. He was elected Employee of the Quarter. Couldn't be more proud. I don't know if that's ever been done for someone who's just off probation and immediately Employee of the Quarter. He's a rock star. I mean that. If you haven't had a chance to come down and meet him or have a chance to just sit and talk with him, he's definitely a great asset to the city, and I can't be more thankful. Lastly, I just want to congratulate Ty on his 15 years.
Thank you so much. Eric Gregory, Parks.
Thank you, Mayor. Just very quickly, we did have a new park tech start with us last year, Joey Homan, young man, very good hire. He complements our team very well, very good attitude, always happy. Just so those listening at home know, and I recently talked to April about our yard waste program. Short version is we have a waste program. The citizens of Osage Beach can take yard clippings and very small trees and just rubbish to drop-off point at the south end of City Park near the maintenance shop. In the past, it was from April through July. I didn't think it would be a huge deal just to extend that year-round, and hopefully this takes some of the pressure off of Rob and his crew with the leaf pickup. So I think that's going out tomorrow, and Jamie's helping us with that, with the announcement on social media and updating our website. Also, just so the board's aware, we're hoping to send the RFP for the ball field management out next week.
Hopefully I'll have it done tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll get it out tomorrow.
Okay.
Very good.
No pressure. I want to thank Cole for fitting that in amongst everything else he had to do in the last few weeks. It's just been a little bit on his plate. So thank you again.
Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no worries. Continued improvements on the dog park. It has been amazing how many people are using it daily. I mean, it's just in and out all day long, and we've been getting a lot of compliments on the dog park, so we're very happy about that. And then park staff are we're pulling our holiday lights out of storage and testing them, and you're going to start seeing us with the road department crew putting them up along the parkway. So, and then to echo what April said, I missed the last meeting. I was in Alaska, but I just wanted to thank our parks team and everybody that volunteered. And April, you were there working very hard, just like everybody else. So thank you for that. And I agree, Patience has been outstanding. We're very happy with her, and congratulations, Ty. That's all I have.
All right, thanks so much. Human Resource, Patty Musso.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. I feel like patience is like the key word of the night. But also, thank you, Devin and April, for your patience with me as I've navigated doing the budget for the first time, and that's something brand new to me in my career life. I kind of wanted to applaud all the things you guys have hit on already with hiring and new hires starting and all that. I think the only one we've missed so far is we did have a new full-time paramedic start this week as well. And I also wanted to thank Abby Barrett. She's a rock star, as it's been said many times, but she has been hiring all of these new people as far as going through the NeoGov process of posting the listings and sending those out to managers and sitting in on all of the interviews. I think she's been a part of about 6 new hires at this point, and she's only been in the role for a little less than 2 months. But even she's been doing that and running payroll and training Selena at the same time. So she really is a rock star, and I thank her and April and Tara for helping on Health Fair last week when I was not here. Appreciate it a lot.
All right, thank you very much. City Engineer Drew Bowman.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. We have several projects winding down. We have several projects that are starting. So it's definitely busy in the capital improvement area, but I did want to give a big shout out to Morgan, our GIS technician. Jamie came to him earlier this week and said, hey, we had this tool to communicate the leaf pickup, and now it's either not working or we don't know how it works. And Morgan pretty much said, well, that doesn't really work very well. Let me just rebuild it. And he pretty much rebuilt the whole leaf system in a day, maybe 2. So I am continually impressed with his professionalism and his experience and his knowledge, and just wanted to give him a big shout out. And I'm sure that it has been very helpful and will be helpful to our citizens.
All right, thank you. Airport tied in still.
Yes, thank you, everybody. I'm actually kind of embarrassed tonight. Everybody's helping me celebrate my 15 years, and I'm looking around at a lot of you that have been here a lot longer than me. So thank you. And a quick update, the roof project at Grand Glaze, Eric Howe from CMT and the contractor did a walkthrough last Tuesday, did a small punch list, and the contractor was out today finishing that up. So that project is winding down, finished.
All right, thank you. Public Works, Zach.
Well, happy birthday, early birthday. Thank you. Yeah, it seems to be a really good time for everybody right now. I mean, there's a lot of things like Travis. Really want to congratulate him. I have limited interactions with him, but every time I do, I'm just very thoroughly impressed with him. Morgan as well. I mean, for those instances and cartograph stuff, and they both seem like a wealth of knowledge. Of course, Jamie, everybody loves Jamie too. She's been great. But yeah, congratulations, Ty. Happy birthday, and hope everybody has a good weekend, extended weekend.
Yeah, wow. All right, I think I got everybody out there, didn't I? Alderman Rucker, please.
Yes, a couple items. First of all, Zach, keep that microphone heavy because I need you to answer this question, please. Can you bring us up to date on the boil order?
There was a main break at on College, next to the nursing home. It's just standard procedure.
It's just an advisory too, it's not an order.
Right. Yep, correct. So we had a main break near the retirement home on College. Standard procedure, issue a boil order when you lose less than 20% or 20 PSI on a water main. So it's been repaired for a couple hours now and everybody's back into water. But yeah, it's just a standard precaution, put a boil advisory out for 24 hours. We will pull samples on the main and make sure everything is good to go. But yeah.
Just wanted to get that out there for those that didn't see it or didn't hear about it, in case they're aware of that issue. Secondly, thank you, Jamie, for that this afternoon. I did enjoy the opportunity to watch the dog do her thing, and I had a chance to talk to the corporal about some things when they were hiding the drug stuff, and very, very passionate about what he's doing there, and very, 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 very serious about what he's doing there. So it's a very nice situation we have there. And as far as the budget goes, you know, I thank all you guys for what you've done. Don't take it wrong by the scrutiny that we're giving and putting it through, and the questions, for as far as I'm concerned, are not a slam to anybody. It's just there's issues and stuff, and we'll get through it and be better for it. And I'm one of those old dogs that don't like new tricks, and that's been a challenge for me with the process. It's been a change in the process, and I'm not easy to do those kind of changes.
You're doing pretty good, though.
But we'll get there. And so other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Berlin.
Just want to remind everybody of the Veterans Day Parade and hope you get out there and have lunch at restaurants that are up and down the parkway or go and visit shops and line it and enjoy the parade.
All right, thank you. Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, a couple things. I'll lead out with Jamie, too. Well done, Jamie. I had a couple people who were applying for jobs here, and then they went and tried to apply at Camden County, Lake Ozark, surrounding cities, and they said that our information and our website, our process was far superior to the other ones. So that's very good news, because I feel like when I first got elected a year and a half ago, that was not the case. So well done, whoever else was involved with that. April, I don't think you're getting enough credit on this budget. Well done. You really jumped into this. The only thing I disagree with you is I was down at Fall Festival. I saw Ron's driving. That wasn't impressive. But other than that, well done. Most of you probably don't know this, but Ty and I go back to working together at the original Ezzards. I was a bag boy there. Bill Ezzard and my dad were best friends. And Ty was stocking shelves and working in the meat department. And I worked there, helped move over to the new Ezzards, and Ty messed with me constantly. Was constantly pulling tricks on me and pranks. But it taught me how to run pranks and do tricks. And after that, Ty moved over to Ace Hardware, where he had to deal with my dad walking in the back door pretty much every day and just doing whatever he wanted to. So Ty and I go way back, and I think it's a real credit to this city that he basically has worked for Bill Ezzard, one of the best humans I've ever met, and the city of Osage Beach. And so Ty, kudos, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Still, even after all the pranks. On the bowl, I just want to say, well done, Mayor, for staying positive. They really came after you, and I think it was completely unfair. And I think you handled it very well. And to our staff, I know this was hard on you guys. I saw it in your faces at that meeting, and I'll tell you, it hurt me to just see the looks on your faces. And I will say to the people that are out there on social media who are slandering and saying negative things and putting out disinformation, the people you are hurting are our staff, and they're the ones who come in here every day and try to make this city better. So those of you who are supporting and listening to those people out there, that's what you're supporting, and I would highly suggest that you really take that to heart. I look forward to seeing the bull there in a professional and accurate way. And again, I give a lot of kudos to Cole and Carrie especially for doing their jobs and trying to do them as gracefully as they could. Lastly, the Veterans Day Parade is Monday. I will be there.
Saturday.
It's Saturday?
You'll be late. You'll miss it.
Is it really? Wow.
You're going to be late.
So I guess Monday I'm doing my tour. I had this. Okay, I'll see you on Saturday. I'll be obviously representing the Navy, and as usual, we're late, I guess. So, but again, lastly, just staff. I know this was a hard week or two on you. It was on us too. I think you guys handled it very, very well. I couldn't have been more impressed with the way you guys handled a very, very tough situation. So well done.
All right, thank you very much. Alderman Osteen.
A few things this evening. First of all, I'm often surprised that I sit on this board.
We are too.
We are too.
Sorry.
I'm just a man with an opinion, good, bad, or otherwise. I've been fortunate enough that I've been given a public forum to speak those. What I think or what I state is not indicative of what the board thinks. It's just my personal opinion, and sometimes I'm shocked that I've not been impeached yet. Because I don't know why I still sit here.
Once again, I feel fortunate that I am part of this city and part of this organization, that my voice is heard. I get to speak my beliefs and speak on behalf of people that I think believe the same way I do. So I'm often sometimes humbled that I get that opportunity. Secondly, I want to apologize to the board for my demeanor at our closed session meeting on Monday. I was very sick, and those that were not there, I let rip several cuss words behind closed doors because I was not happy. So, sorry, folks. I'm gonna chalk that up to me being sick and wanting to get out as soon as possible. I do want to point out Veterans Day is on Monday. That is a day we should definitely go out of our way to honor all of those that have served our country, have served, and still do serve. On a more personal note, Gary Patterson, it's your birthday. That means you're a Scorpio. I know a little bit about horoscopes, and all horoscopes rule a body part. Scorpio is ruled by the loins.
Wow.
Look it up.
Officially off the
Funny
rails now.
little horoscope trivia. Lastly, Ty Disdale was not popular in high school. I was a proper snob, and I was older than him. But then he started dating Julie Ezra.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And Julie was rich, because her family owned Ezra's Market, and she was a cheerleader. So once he started dating Julie, I thought, okay, now I can like Ty, because I was a stuck-up snob. I don't often run up to my age, but that was over 40 years ago, Ty.
Wow.
Over 40 years ago, and I am just honored to be sitting here talking to you 40 years later. I can't believe it. Same with Hoffman. I can't believe we have that kind of history.
It's crazy, bud.
Congratulations on your tenure with the city. It's good to be part of your life 40 years later.
Quarterback always gets the girl, right?
Yeah. That's
All right.
all.
Alderman Rose, thank you.
How do I follow all First of all, congratulate Ty. We are very blessed to have you, and I hope you stay with us forever. I mean, well, at least for, just as long as, whatever it's gonna take. And mucho kudo applause, Mayor. Truly, so eloquently spoken, and very proud to have you as a mayor.
Thank you. It means a lot.
I was also very excited about learning tonight, as we all were, about the timeshares are a closed deal, and now Oasis can move forward. And of course, we can see that there hadn't been a lot of construction other than just that one area. And I've had people say, are they out of money? Are they stopping construction? What's going on? You can imagine. And I just ignore them and say, hold on, honey, you wait. It's gonna break our town, and we're gonna love it. When I say break, I mean break a leg is what I'm thinking of. Also, I think just to put out again, and I know many residents don't know about this, and it's reiterated every year. Thanks to our Osage Beach Fire Department of getting our smoke detectors replaced. And they have a motto: as soon as the sun changes in the fall, call us and we'll be happy to come out. I, for one, am a recipient, and they're so gracious. Come out, you supply the batteries, and they bring a ladder, and wham, bam, they were in and out of there within 10 minutes. So Osage Beach residents, don't hesitate to call the service that they offer us. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that they do. Other than that, I think you guys are going to have a 3-day holiday coming up, well-deserved for all the time and effort that you've been putting in, especially working on this budget. And Carrie, another year older, happy birthday. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for the kind words. I think I've talked enough tonight. The only thing I'll say is that I think people can see at home and up here that we really do care for the city. That's why we do have bad days. That's why we do go home worried about things. That's why we do get emotional sometimes, because we really do have, the city's best interest at heart. So I go around the room and say, congratulations, Ty, happy birthday, Carrie, nice job on the budget, but really, as a group, we do strive to be the best we can possibly be, and if you do have a comment, question, or concern, give us a call, because we want to make it better. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And happy Veterans to all those people out there. And if I don't have anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Alderman
Before we
Rucker?
do that, I would like to reflect in the minutes that we are not having an executive session. I know it was on the agenda, and I didn't like the fact that our last set of minutes included the fact that there was an executive session, and it didn't say that we didn't have one. No, I don't think so. You need to relook at what I got. And if you did, all right, I just want to make sure that we make sure to be known that I don't want somebody in the future to think, well, they had a session and they didn't, but we are not going to have an executive session tonight. So I just wanted to clarify that.
All right. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Go Navy.
Alderman Morose, are you second? Alderman Barella. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.